Mama, a lifetime crowded with laughter. That's not long enough, not half long enough. What can I give you that I can give you? What will your present be? Mama, young and beautiful, always young and beautiful. That's the mama I'll always see. That's for Mama with love from me.
First Fall by Maggie Smith. I'm your guide here. In the evening dark morning streets, I point and name. Look, the sycamores. They're mottled, paint by number bark. Look, the leaves, rusting and crisping at the edges. I walk through Schiller Park with you on my chest. Stars smolder well into daylight. Look, the pond, the ducks, the dogs paddling after their prized sticks. Fall is when the only things you know, because I've named them, begin to end. Soon I'll have another season to offer you. Frost, soft on the window, and a porthole side there. Ice, sleeving the bare gray branches. The first time you see something die, you won't know it might come back. I'm desperate for you to love the world because I brought you here.
Eyes open, shocked awake, much to learn from our mistakes. Draw us closer in our heartache. Show us how to love. Show us how to love. Show us how. Show us how to love. Show us how to love. Show us how to love. Show us how. Show us
I spend a lot of this summer in the pool at the Jewish Community Center, observing firsthand the demands of parenting in what's a really happy environment. It's summer, we're in the pool, and I hear this all the time. Mom, 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 look over here. Mom, look at me. Mom, come here. There's very active involvement from fathers and partners too, but I noticed that most of the cries for pure attention is from mom. And that's pretty typical. One of the nicest things about this setting is that the mothers are often able to soak up the sun, scroll on their phones, or read, chat with other people, while swimming teachers or lifeguards, other guardians, and the general community keeps their eyes on the kids. I myself have scooped up a couple of them out of the deep end or when they're sputtering in the shallow end because I just happen to be right there. It does take a village. I myself have been scooped out of the deep end many times by mothering souls of all genders who were not my biological parents. One of the positive developments that's happening in our societies in recent years is that mothers have been able to be a little more honest about the demands of parenting, sharing more about what it's really like to gestate a human beings in their body for 9 months, the realities of labor and delivery, the lasting effects that having given birth has had on their bodies, and the emotional complexity of motherhood, very much of which is related to the extremely high expectations that are placed on all parents, but I think perhaps especially mothers. This is an important counterbalance movement to the romanticized or sanitized versions of pregnancy and mothering that have been around for a really long time. All along that this has been going on, mothers have been wondering, why is this taboo to talk about? Why are we like whispering in the kitchen just amongst the women instead of just talking about it freely? I think about the movies, some of the movies I grew up with, or the TV shows, which would always show like the pretty made-up mom in the quilted bed jacket in the bed with the cute little powdered down baby in their arms. And I had no idea until I was an adult how messy and bloody. And the first time I was at a birth, passed out. I don't do that again because I can't handle it. It's too much. I'm happy to be in a room where the end of life is happening and that the transition of death is occurring. But the birthing thing, wow. Just because pregnancy and birthing are so normal and common doesn't mean that they aren't serious and risky, even today. The biblical expression, gird your loins, which I'm sure you've heard, it actually, in that context in Scripture, it's used to refer to men going off to war and women going off to give birth. Equally dangerous propositions. Gives you pause. In Emma Petit's new novel, Tilt, I don't know if any of you have read it, an extremely pregnant Annie goes to IKEA to get a crib for her baby. And and when she's there, a very serious earthquake occurs. Devastating earthquake. As Annie struggles to escape alive from the store and work her way across a ruined and burning Portland, it's in Oregon, landscape, trying to find or hoping to get to her husband, we hear her internal dialogue about her body, its unwieldiness, the pain that she's experiencing. She's like 8.5 months pregnant. Her fears, we're privy to all of that. She remembers, it all takes place during one day, but there's some flashbacks. Annie remembers attending a prenatal yoga class where the teacher encourages the participants to talk to the baby and is one of those like perpetually cheerful coach types. Talk to baby. Yes, always with that tone. And when it comes Annie's time to share her name and how pregnant she is, she writes, I want to tell them that I read a post on Reddit about a woman who screamed so loud and so long during labor that she lost her voice, and by the end, her mouth was just split open with no sound coming out. I want to tell them that last night I lay awake and realized that I'm going to die and my child is going to attend my funeral. Annie doesn't think that her thoughts are acceptable, so she's certainly not going to say them out loud. She feels bad for even thinking them. The yoga teacher, I think, represents all of the ways that we don't make room for the shadow side of parenting, for discomfort, for fear. And this teacher has all of the participants go into something called goddess pose, which I guess is some sort of crouch. And oh yeah, is it like this? Okay. And so okay. So they go into this crouch, but I mean, of course, if you're enormously pregnant, imagine the stress on the knees. And so she's supposed to hold this pose for 60 seconds, which the teacher says is the length of a contraction. And so poor Annie, her calves start to tremble at 45 seconds, and she has to fight not to stand. Channel the ancient wisdom of your body. Think of all the millions of women who have come before you, who have done this before you. And Annie can't think of a single one, because she is so preoccupied by the pain in her legs. She wants to channel the wisdom of her body, but she can't. So she stands, and she feels so alone and like a total failure. I laughed and laughed. It was just so real. Poor kid. Tilt is on the bestseller list right now, I think partially because Annie is a new kind of character, one who dares to challenge romantic notions of motherhood by saying, the character, she says, I'm not necessarily automatically equipped to deal with all of this. I am overwhelmed. I have conflicting emotions about what this means for my life. In doing this, author Emma Petit and others are modeling what it looks like for any human being who feels constricted or conflicted about their role in life to be more honest about how it limits them and how it can create shame and isolation. And it models how to be more free by sharing our truths. This liberates everyone. Having the freedom to move beyond archetypes into the complexity of how we fill all the roles in our lives is essential to emotional and spiritual well-being. How can anyone have good mental health or emotional functioning as God intended them to be if they feel like they have to play a part their whole lives? Repressive religions and regimes have always threatened this freedom to flourish, to be one's authentic self. They have always enforced strict role definitions and behaviors, meanwhile threatening alienation or civil rights or expulsion from the community, and sometimes under threat of death. One of the most important commitments, therefore, to religious liberals is to support the exploration, expression, and celebration of the complexity and diversity of creation and how we all are an expression of that complexity and that diversity, and to remain committed to what I would call creative casting. Not all mothers are innately nurturing. Why put all of that solely on them? Not all mothers are women. Talk about things that represent true diversity, freedom, change. Biological mothers assure the continuation of the species, but the nurturing is all of ours to do. I think about the nurturers that I really admire. I think about, for instance, Brandon O'Neill, whom I've never met. He is a choreographer at the Debbie Allen Dance Academy in Los Angeles. He is a Black gay man who starts all of his count-offs with his little dancers by saying, 5, 6, believe in yourself. And he just, as he's counting off the steps for the choreography that they're doing, it's just always, and you better dance, and you better show it, and you're beautiful, and he always ends it with A+. 5, 6, believe in yourself. So I've started that as a mantra when I'm facing a challenging moment. He's a life giver. Arthur Sjogren and Daniel Hersey, my old choir directors who left a legacy of love and artistic guardianship in my life and to all of their students. Kenneth Griffith, who works with children in the Boston Children's Chorus and is a life giver, again, through his gifts for music, who attends to them not just as people with certain voices, but as whole human beings. The neighborhood aunties and uncles who aren't blood kin, but pay attention and support and care, especially when parents may not be able to. Everyone working in the educational systems, the social workers, the police officer who quietly thrifts and collects clean clothes and period products for the women in her lockup, who are brought in a state of undress and at their very lowest. I see you. Elected officials who go off script to demonstrate emotional investment, vulnerability, and sacrifice, who put aside their electability to do something eminently human at risk to their careers. There are so many ways to be life givers, to take on the nurturer role, even if our societal or family roles are not traditionally thought to require that kind of heart. They all do. They all should. When we support mothers to freely express and be themselves in all their reality, all their messiness, to give them a hand off the pedestal, it makes more room for the rest of us to grow, larger, more life-giving, more pregnant with compassion, more willing to see how much mothering we are all called to do. God, give us the heart of the Divine Mother and the generosity of spirit, time, attention, and caring demonstrated by the best of our human ones. So may it be.